Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Mike Elko, the Texas A&M Aggies continue to roll on the recruiting trail, landing another commitment coming from the 2025 class and four-star cornerback Cobey Sellers from the state of Texas. A really interesting prospect that played a lot of quarterback his junior year of high school, but when you dive in to the defensive back film, I mean, you see multiple things that you think project really well to the Power 5 level one at 5'11 and a half, 175, not necessarily the biggest frame, but some really, really long arms. He knows how to put his hands on wide receivers. And then you start taking a look at the athletic profile, track and field background. You see the long speed on the film, but I think my favorite aspect of Cobey Sellers is, yes, he's got long arms. He has the long speed. I think his movement ability, his quick twitch, his ability to mirror wide receivers, break on the football, that's probably my favorite aspect of what he brings to the table for Texas A&M. I think he's a box checker at the cornerback spot. Want to get into the film. Before we do, and as always, just want to say thank you to you guys, to the Texas A&M fans. I mean, it's been a blast talking this program, right? Whether we're talking the portal, the high school recruiting trail, it's been a very exciting first couple months for Mike Elko. Can't thank you guys enough for rocking with the fellas. If y'all do enjoy the content, the updates, consider subscribing to the channel. We're getting into recruiting season over the next couple months. We'll keep you guys updated. And without further ado, let's get into Cobey Sellers. And I think, again, where you want to start with Cobey Sellers is this is – kind of a premier athlete at the cornerback spot. There's a reason he's a top 150 prospect nationally, considered one of the best cornerbacks. Every trait that you want in a cornerback, I feel like Cobey Sellers has, right? A ton of length in his arms. He knows how to use that length, putting his hands on wide receivers. He has that track and field background. You see that when he's working vertically down the field. But I think, again, going back to my favorite attribute about Cobey Sellers, I mean, the quick twitch, the ability to break on the football, mirror wide receivers, not really a hole in Cobey Sellers' game. And I think he's just a really well-rounded cornerback prospect for Texas A&M. Want to take us to the film, and we had to go to the sophomore year film because a lot of the junior film is him playing quarterback. And again, he's got a nice arm. He's going to play cornerback for Texas A&M. I think what you're most excited about is he shows the athleticism in a lot of different ways, and you make no mistake about it when you're evaluating the cornerback position. Evaluating the athleticism has to be one of the top things you're looking for in terms of when you're asked to kind of cover physical freaks at the wide receiver position in the SEC. You need premier athletes to go toe-to-toe with those guys, and I think Cobey Sellers, is probably one of those premier athletes. And again, on the film shows a lot of different things. Right here, working vertically down the field, you see the length, you see the ball skills that he has. I mean, very comfortable playing the football in the air. Kind of looks like a natural wide receiver making this play. And that's something we talk about a lot. Cornerbacks oftentimes lacking those ball skills. Cobey Sellers doesn't lack the ball skills. And again, now you get to see when he has the football in his hands, you get to see some of that movement skills, right? The acceleration, the ability to make people miss, get in and out of his movement patterns. That type of stuff translates to the defensive side of the football. He's physical. He can come down the hill and kind of lay the wood as well. He's a willing tackler in the box. I think this is probably one of my most impressive reps that you see on the film, where he's kind of working in the zone coverage where he has to come off this wide receiver, get to the flat, and you see him change direction and close this gap exceptionally well in the red zone. Again, this is a touchdown a lot of different times, but when you have a cornerback that can take those throwing windows away like Cobey Sellers can, I mean, it's really, really impressive in terms of what he can do. You run this one back, again, super comfortable, changing directions, flipping those hips, closing on throwing windows. Those are all the things that you're looking for in an elite level cornerback. Again, being physical at the point of attack. We obviously love that. And I mean, he's a two-way guy. And you see the just dynamic athlete Cobey Sellers is when he has the football in his hand as well. And again, he's not going to play quarterback. He's going to play cornerback for this Texas A&M program. But you love to see the two-way ability. You love to see him flash that elite athleticism, whether he's playing defensive back, whether he's playing with the football in his hands. He is very, very fast. You see that on the film. I mean, the long speed, track and field background, it's impressive. You see that show up on the football field, and you get into what Texas A&M is doing on the recruiting trail, and I'm really impressed, right? You have your quarterback of the future in Hassan Longstreet. I think that is, we talked about Hassan Longstreet when he committed. You talk about a quarterback that I think Mike Elko can win a lot of football games with. Hassan Longstreet's that guy, right? Twitched up athlete, absolute flamethrower of an arm. He's mobile, can move outside the pocket. The thing that I want to focus on here is what Texas A&M is doing in the secondary and what they're doing on the offensive line, right? You have Dejon Petaway and Cobey Sellers coming in at that cornerback spot, two cornerbacks that we like a lot, but I mean, more importantly, love what they're doing on the offensive line, and they sound like they're not being done with the offensive line. Jonte Newman, Marcus Garcia, Connor Carty, broken down all three of these guys. I think there's a lot to like in all three of these offensive linemen, but more importantly than just getting offensive linemen, we talk about this all the time, and you're seeing Texas A&M struggle with it in the transfer portal. It's hard to address the offensive line in the transfer portal, right? Texas A&M tried to, but we said this earlier this morning. There were not that many starting caliber offensive linemen that were available in the portal. And if they are available, they're going to cost you a lot. And so what does Mike Elko really need to focus on during his first couple classes? Getting those bodies from the high school ranks, right? Stockpiling a lot of quality players in that offensive line room. So you don't need to use the portal to go get offensive linemen, right? You can go address your roster needs at a lot of different positions in the portal, right? There's always going to be good wide receivers. There's going to be good running backs. The offensive line, it's a much harder position to address in the portal. And I think Mike Elko realizes that. And he's really put a lot of emphasis on getting these offensive linemen from the high school ranks. I'm a huge fan of what Texas A&M is doing in this 2025 class. It's a top 10 class as we stand. And I mean, balancing out having one of the better transfer portal classes and also bringing in a top 10 high school recruiting class. If you're a Texas A&M fan, you got to be fired up about what Mike Elko is doing on the recruiting trail. It's trending for a couple top names. Jonah Williams at that linebacker spot. We'll continue to update you guys throughout the summer with what Texas A&M is doing on the recruiting trail. Appreciate you guys rocking with the boys. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later.